Yep.
I'd like to call to order the Scott Township Workshop Meeting for Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. Please rise for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. As we gather here today as commissioners and members of Scott Township, we ask that we are ever mindful of each other, opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens, and to our community that we hold dear. Keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, acceptance, understanding, exerting our efforts in those areas, and on those things upon which future generations can build with confidence and build proudly. Let us continue to strive to make a better neighborhood, a better township, and a better world. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Denise.
Absolutely. Commissioner Judici.
Here.
Commissioner Myers. Here. Stella. Commissioner Seibel.
Here.
Commissioner Sorkin.
Here.
Commissioner Delfonso.
Here.
Commissioner Sedlak. Commissioner Gasta. Here. Commissioner Altman.
Here. I'm here too. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite public comments on all agenda items listed below. If anybody would like to come up and speak on any items on the agenda. Okay, not seeing any, we'll move on to planning, zoning, and code enforcement. Mark, do you have a code enforcement update?
I do. For January 2026, we issued 16 permits for a total value estimated cost of about $1.3 billion. That included 6 new single-family homes on Lindsay Road. We issued 17 notices of violation. We had 3 magistrate hearings and 15 rental inspections, 8 building inspections, 1 right to know. Just to give everybody an update on the next school development, there are 3 homes that are completed and certificates of occupancy have been issued for them. So 1 would be the model, and then 2 other ones, it's my understanding, they were closed on those. So they are under new ownership. We have 10 permits that have been issued for construction right now. So those are under, and then we have, so that's a total of 13. And then we have 2 permits that we've approved and the permits have been issued. And then we have 3 more that are under review. So that brings us to a total of 1826. So none of these 8 left. Any questions at all or anything on it?
All right, we'll move on then to 3C, which is to discuss an ordinance adopting the 2021 International Property Maintenance Code.
3B.
Oh, sorry. Go back to 3B. Discuss an ordinance restating ordinance 1179-82 and confirming the township's obligations with regard to animals running at large within the township of Scott. Is there any further discussion on that?
What was the change again on that?
The latest change after the last meeting?
Well, it was there were a number of changes. What we did, we completely updated the existing ordinance to primarily to look at the definition of owner and custodian, to put some onus back on to people that might be feeding these animals and so forth, and keeping them in the neighborhood and not allowing them just to roam normally as they would. And so that was asked by the magistrate judge to make sure that we can enforce that properly. We also just kind of cleaned it up, just bringing it up to code with, you know, one of the items on, I think we talked last time was give the police and hands on, take them away. That just isn't going to happen. That was something that we felt we needed. So That's really what it was. Don't leave anything else.
Animal control pick up the cats?
Right.
Would animal control?
They want, I've called them a number of times and they've just told me that they don't have the room for the cats any longer. They're primarily, they're flavor cats. The lonely neighborhoods. Some people do take them to that home. You have that documented, we do clip their ears. So that you know that that's, and they're not giving birth anymore to feral cats. But feed them, that keeps them in one isolated area. And then we get complaints from neighbors who are, they're having problems with the cats, with their porch furniture. So sort of cover the porch furniture, and that would help, but they still don't want to have to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
When it gets as cold as this, up under the covers anyway. Okay. Any other questions on that ordinance? Then we'll move on to discuss an ordinance adopting the 2021 International Property Maintenance Code.
What I use a lot of times on for people's problems. This is what we, worse, this is what we take. People don't comply from the drive. So this is a very important. The building code follows the same 2021 international property or international codes. And so we felt that it was best to stay current with that. We were also informed that as our ordinance reads, is that we adopt this code and it says, and any subsequent revisions or amendments thereto, including later issues thereof, that really won't hold up in court. John, I think you could attest to that. I can.
Yes, I mean, I think what they look for is the specificity in the adoption of later codes. Maybe perhaps there'll be decisions by the magistrates in the downtown doing that, but I think whenever there's a new international property maintenance code that comes out coinciding with the states, it's best to just have that, because again, when Mark is, less so before the magistrate, but more so downtown, there's always someone who's going to raise these technical objections, and all it takes us is just to publish an ordinance, and that way we've kind of really solidified our defenses on that.
So the last time we adopted a code was the 2009 IPMC. And one of the items with this ordinance, a little different than that one, is that there are various sections in the code that allows you to input, such as the name of the township, code enforcement department will enforce it, grass can't be more than 10 inches tall, then dates of when screens are required and heat and so forth in dwelling units. So those have been added to this ordinance and would be included in case anybody would ever challenge that. How it can specify.
And I believe one of the code itself understands that there can be some local changes to that, and that's what we've done in this. So
10 inches seems a little generous with grass, or am I being a stickler?
Well, I know that we maintain about 6 inches of, that's what, so, you're right, it's probably a generous amount, just for the heavy rains and the springs and so forth. Like we've been enforcing it and it seems.
Seems to work okay.
Yeah.
No bother.
I would have trouble cutting 10 inches.
That's what I was thinking. 10 inches. A lot.
Any other questions on that? Yeah, PMC. Okay. All right, we'll move on to discuss a resolution to approve the acquisition and subsequent disposition of the vacant parcel 144-R-82, formerly 128 Klein Way, to be acquired by Harry and Jolie Fisher through the Allegheny County Vacant Property Recovery Program in accordance with the comprehensive plan of the municipality. And I know we have some folks in attendance for this item as well, so.
And this is the one, if everybody recalls, this is one that we abolished a few years back. Now it's an empty lot. And so it would be perfect for someone to pick up that lives next door.
Any further questions?
The only comment I make is this is consistent with the county procedures on here. And so the county, again, the interested owners or interested people go through the county, but there's certain things we have to sign off on. And among them is the resolution. So
If you notice the application, the price, there was an error made with that. But there was a letter from the county that clarified what the actual price would be that they would pay. And total looks like it's $6,900 according to this letter.
Right. Sounds good. As we'll be voting on this in 2 weeks. Yep. We'll move on to discuss a resolution to approve the acquisition and subsequent disposition of lot and block 102-K-235 at 340 Magazine Street by Michael A. Pruss through the Allegheny County Vacant Property Program in accordance with the comprehensive plan of the municipality.
There's somebody here also representing the owners for the. This is also a vacant parcel adjacent to their own. It's my understanding that they've been maintained.
Did you want to say anything?
Yes.
Come on up if you.
Don't have to say anything probably, but I just want to. So, hi, my name is Alyssa Priest. The name is Michael. I just want to let you guys know, like he said, we have been maintaining the property since 2004. Cutting it, doing everything we possibly can with it. Pretty much maintaining everything about it. And also there's a tree that is kind of in not a good position right now. We really need to get cut down. So on the other aspect of it, we would like to cut the tree down. So therefore we purchase a property. After that, we would know if we knew we definitely had the property, we'd cut the tree down. Because we believe it's not as good as it should be. So other than that, pretty much, and we just use it for activities.
Right.
That, I think that's it. That's.
Go for it. Okay. Any questions from the board?
I add something from a legal perspective. I mean, what we've had with the applicants tonight, it really reflects what the county's program is about. So that, because outside of a program like this, it's very difficult for otherwise to acquire properties that are really not being taken care of and not of any use. So
Yes, and it exactly, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we have been retaining it for several years now. Moved in around that time, and we've been maintaining it with my father-in-law who's is now gone now, lives next door, and we've been maintaining it ever since. And it just would benefit us to finish purchasing it and finish maintaining it like we've been, yes.
Have our vote in 2 weeks?
Do I need to come back?
I don't think so. I don't hear much opposition here.
Never done. Okay, thank you guys.
I think you're fine.
Thanks.
You're welcome to join the Zoom. You're welcome to watch on Facebook as well. We will move on to 3F, which is discuss ratifying the advertising of an ordinance for vacating the unopened alley bordering parcels 101-P-65, 101-P.52, and 101-P.60. With the intent that after the alley is vacated, it would be part of the Westman Plat Investment Subdivision Plan as recommended by the Planning Commission.
Did that all. You guys had the hearing on it.
We had the hearing.
Now this is the advertising of the ordinance for passage. Okay.
One of those multi-step.
Yeah.
Any questions on that? Okay. Anything for the solicitor's report tonight?
no report tonight.
Okay, we'll move on to the engineer's report. She always has. The longest report.
Sorry, I always do have a report. I'm sorry. Thank you. All right, first item on engineer's report is to discuss partial payment number 4 submitted by LM&R Excavating LLC in the amount of $228,559.83 for work completed between November 25th and January 30th for contract number 24 STO1, which is your 2024 stormwater improvements project. This is to be paid from the bond fund. In accordance with the question that has been asked, your 45-day payment date would be March the 23rd.
Thank
So-
you, Marie. It's helpful.
So just speaking to this, work was done by LM&R. This is the first of the stormwater PRP projects that we bid. Everything is in order, and I would recommend that we put this on the agenda for approval at our next meeting.
Where is this one located?
So this is your first set of ponds. This is Hope Street, Spinner, Green Commons.
Doing a lot of progress on Green Commons over there. All of a sudden, it looks like a stormwater pond.
Denise, everything's satisfactory as far as you know on Hope Street. I have not had any more complaints. Have you?
We had an inquiry from Mr. Wilkerson, but I believe Tom did talk to him and he was satisfied.
Early on in this process, we had, and at the Public Works Committee, we had discussed putting signage up about what these ponds do. Have we made any progress on that, or do we need to revisit that?
We need to revisit it because I don't think.
I have that on my list of things that I took note of that, and we need to work on language to put a sign up at each one of the facilities.
Okay.
I didn't forget.
Yeah, I think at completion is fine. It's just, I
Right.
think it's, you kind of look at them as a geographical feature. It's like, what is that? Why,
Yes.
As far as the educational component, do we have like progress pictures from all of these? Because I think if we put it.
We do have pictures that our on-site personnel take. We have a whole array of them. We'll have to talk about what kind of language you want on these signs. I don't know if you just want like an identification sign or if you want a little bit of, what it is and why it's here. I mean, we can kind of.
too late to get something in the newsletter?
Probably do that.
I don't want to add too much cost to add a page, but
Yeah.
We can
That'd
go
be
to the
kinda
next newsletter and do a. more
that's next
proper-
year.
Okay.
Even if we definitely get like a portion of our website dedicated to MS4 education, that helps us with our credits and stuff. And
Yeah.
It'd be good to see where probably a few $1 million is gonna end up going once all 9 of these are done.
We can give you a little narrative on the projects and what they are.
That's some empty wall space over there.
Yeah, there we go.
It's like a museum.
Yeah,
Little placard.
actually, yeah.
You could even put something like that out in the hall. That way it's more
Yeah.
accessible. People can see. There's plenty of space out there.
Okay, thank you. Next is to discuss the North Rend stormwater drainage improvements. This is your North Rend project, which is storm sewer and sanitary sewer replacement, beginning at the stream discharge and going all the way to the hospital. We had 2 bids that we received on this project. One was Cronin Enterprises. Cronin is doing your C53 project, sanitary sewer rehab, also doing PRP phase 2. They're a very competent contractor. Other bidder was Jet Jack, equally as competent. Wasn't much difference between the bids, less than 200,000. Low bid came in at 3.75 million. It's a difficult job. It's really, really deep. I think with your blessing, would like to look at some options here. Bring those back to you. We do have 3 sources of funds on this project. I need to make sure we're going to use the funds. If they're going to expire, we can kind of piece this into 2. Denise and I have talked about some options, but I think with your blessing, we do have the ability to hold these bids for a period of time. I would like to table this, do some homework, and then we can revisit some options at your next workshop.
Since this is so far over the budget, would it be appropriate to remand this back to Public Works Committee to look through it before it comes back here?
Probably makes sense.
Because it's extremely over the budget.
Right.
I'm not blaming you.
No, no.
I'm just saying
What's the budget, Tom?
over 2 million.
Just over 2 million. It is like a third over, almost more than that, like 40% over.
So,
A lot of money.
As far as figures, Marie, was this in line with what you guys might have anticipated, or is this?
When we started putting together like firm costs about a month before, 3, 4 weeks before bid, it was, in talking to contractors, it's not the price of the materials, it's the depth.
Right.
And there's really nothing we can do to change the depth. It's super deep between those houses. Even taking a 20-foot easement, we're into people's houses, so there's parts where that easement really isn't 20 foot. It's wall to wall on the house, and you just can't get through there. If you remember, the whole purpose of the project was originally to upsize that storm sewer to carry the 100-year storm from the hospital area down to the stream. Sanitary is right there, so you can't replace one without replacing the other. And then following up with Public Works, it came to light that sanitary is not in good condition. It's full of obstructions. They can't get through with the camera when we tried to get some information. So there is a need for both of them to be replaced. You're going to have to do them together. So I think it's time to just take a step back and take a look at what else we can do there and how we can make this work. So.
Can I ask, how long ago did we come up with the $2 million price tag?
It's been growing, Stacy, since it started. When we did the capital budget, we had 2 million in there for it, just kind of as a guess as to, we really didn't know where this was going to end up. And like I said, just, getting more, once it went out to bid, once we started getting contractor questions, and some feedback from them, it became evident that they were worried about structural stability on a couple of those houses. An option may be buying a house and moving it, just to be safe so that we don't damage something. So, it's a little drastic, but I don't know any other way to make the project work.
All right, is there any way to split this? Like do part of it this year, like towards the end of the year, and the second half move into the next year so we can budget?
That's kind of what Denise and I were talking about earlier. Some of the grant money we have, may have a deadline that we need to meet. So if we work that part this year with our required match, we could be able to start up at the upper limits of the project where it's an easier dig. It's nowhere near as deep, and we can get through some of that, and then just deal with regulating that stormwater flow to the lower sections until we get that lower section done. So there are ways to do it, and that is one thing Denise and I kind of batted back and forth today.
All right, good, thanks.
Thanks, Stace.
Yep.
So we will revisit that after we have some options.
Marie, about how many houses are being threatened? That would potentially have to deal with purchasing or whatever the solution is.
I don't want to speak out of turn. I really need to look at it, but there's one particular area where it goes between two houses that one of them is going to be an issue. There's other sections where it goes between houses that aren't quite as critical. One in particular that I think would be questionable. Okay, can I move on? Are we okay? Okay. So following up on stormwater discussions, we have some grant money for the Oaks stormwater improvements. If you remember, that's, Spreading Oaks, 30 Oak, that whole Oaks area. We are preparing the project for bid. Obviously, we're going to split it into sections. So we're interested in advancing phase 1. We do have some grant for it, and with your blessing, I'd like to prep that and get it out to bid. And then we can see where those numbers come in and start that ball rolling.
What's the opinion of probable cost for this? Do you have one formulated?
Well, we're gonna tailor it to the funding.
I'm just kind of wondering if there's any chance we could transfer some of that budget over to get North Ren.
We had a couple other ideas for North Ren.
Okay.
They may be a little more lengthy.
Yeah.
And I think this one was written specifically for the Oak.
Yeah, I mean.
The other one, we might be able to.
Yeah, some of these grants, like we have to be careful exactly, some of them require more information, like a location map and a really detailed description. The Oaks was specific, as Denise said, for that area. The other grant that we were thinking of, a grant, it was written very vaguely.
Both need done. North Ren has been going on for so long, and I kind of like,
Well, if you, in your engineer's report, there's a breakdown of the funding we have for North Ren, on page 5, just in case you want to follow up on it. But once we put some better options together, we'll be able to, have a more detailed discussion of how we want to move forward. And Denise and I about looking into some of the grants, and seeing what we have and what is specific to an area and what might be able to be wiggled around. Concerning the Oaks, are we okay to put that on for the next meeting?
yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, motion 5D, discuss bond reduction request number 9 submitted by Flashpoint Partners LLC, reducing the site improvement bond from $871,996.34 to $829,791.45 for the Nixon School Residential Development Project. That is their typical monthly request. You guys do typically approve it at your agenda meeting and then ratify it at your regular meeting. If you are okay with that, then please let me know.
Do you have any concern? Do you see them coming back every month with this?
Yes.
Okay.
The requests are getting smaller and smaller as they dwindle down, but this has been their typical practice.
Do you have any concern with the amount?
Not very much, like 50 grand.
Is there any opposition to approving it tonight and ratifying it at the voting meeting?
Nope.
Have approval.
All right, thank you. Moving on to our next item is Columbia Gas and Lindsay Road. They have submitted documentation for street opening permit number 3. We are working through that and transmitting it to the township via formal letter. It's that section that's above Ursula to Cynthia. So this is commensurate with the discussions that Kevin has had with them. And we would ask that we can put this on the agenda for approval at our next meeting.
Kevin, this is the section where they're just heading to test, right? They're not
Yes.
open cutting.
Yeah, this is the section where they're gonna be working in the shoulders on folks lateral, 17 on one side, 8 on the other. They have to put a fitting on to lower the pressure for those. But we said they had to redo the whole shoulder. On one had 17, the other one's a little thinner, so I ended up with a shoulder.
The next one regards the road selections for your road program for 2026. The road AI software that you purchased, Tom Kelly has been working with Adam from our office to manipulate that software to produce the data in a form that you guys can easily interpret and work with in terms of coming up with road selection. So The letter is uploaded to OnBase. It is also part of the engineer's packet that I emailed you. But in the submittal, it breaks down basically the top 7 or the worst 7 roads per ward in all of the 9 wards. And then it breaks down the worst roads in all wards combined. So the intent of this is to give you guys the information so that you can come up with roadway selections in a timely manner so that we can get the road program pulled together and out to bid. As we've talked every year, the later we go out to bid, the higher the prices are. And some of the better quality contractors have already filled their schedule and aren't able to offer us a bid. With that said, I think probably what you're gonna wanna spend most of your time looking at is the large 11x17 table that's attached to the letter. This is the worst roads in all the wards, so that you guys can have your discussions and come to a consensus on what you think would be the best selections. Now, there are numbers associated with these, and they're just super vague. They were based on a cost per lineal foot to improve the road. So there hasn't been a formal study done on any of these roads. These numbers don't include things like drainage improvements, catch basin work, any work we might need to do on a sanitary sewer if it's not, compromised, cleaning and televising. There's a lot of things that aren't in these numbers. This is just kind of a ballpark so that you can say, I have this much in my road budget. I'm going to pick these 10 roads. So, I'm happy to meet with anybody. If we want to talk through this, if we want to have a work session on it, anything I can do to help you along, and making selections. It was interesting though, pretty much the public works recommendations for the bad roads, the worst ones in each ward and the worst ones overall kind of matched up with the AI process. So it is working the way it's intended to work. Obviously, as we talked, I mean, it does evaluate surface conditions and things like that. What it doesn't give you is, are there drainage complaints on these roads? That's where the subjectivity of your public works guys come in. So, as a tool, it is really cool. It is nice to be able to manipulate the data in the way we do, and it does produce a map, and that's in here too.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah, so it's a lot of information, but it's there, you know, for your review and to help you make some selections.
How confident are you in the asphalt condition percentage? Because I'm looking at some of the better roads, and I would think that the asphalt condition would be much higher than like 46.5%. 59.8%. Is that, you know, essentially remaining life? Is that a way to read that, or?
I think that's more so the you know, good versus bad sections. I would look at that more at like relative to each other as opposed to, you know, a hard number.
Piece I was trying to find in our budget, which is always difficult,
Okay,
are no page numbers. And
600
we allocated about 500.
166,000 is what we have with the project.
666.
Yeah, but I will tell you, that's also includes the park, paving, so
1,000,
you have to consider that as well.
park 100,000.
Is the parking?
I don't know if the park was in this.
Park drive and
That I'm talking about on the budget, wasn't the park about 100,000 we allocated for the park?
What was that total, Denise?
666,000.
Thank you.
But states, you got to track from that a certain amount for the park, and that's why I
Yep.
think that's about 100,000.
550. 550, basically.
But I think it should be.
Did
Not a whole.
I do that?
How we work on one of these.
That road eat that all up.
So can I make a suggestion?
Yep.
So, we have been going with the worst roads and not really going by ward.
Right.
And there's been some, requests that we go back to wards. So looking at this list that we got with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 number ones on here. Now, some of the percentages on the number twos are worse than some of the ones that are further down the list, if that makes sense.
I don't think that's true. You sure, Stace? Because I looked at it and I thought the percentages match up pretty well.
Okay, well, I'm looking at,
I could be wrong, but
well, what I'm saying is, what if we took the top worst roads and started and got one for each ward and then go back up and see what we can fill in with our budget. Does that make sense? Like instead of going,
changing again. I've been an advocate of every ward and I've been slammed down every year about that.
okay, Tom, this is me trying to meet you halfway so that
I
you're
didn't
happy.
complain.
So
I've been waiting for this, and now that we have this, I'm more satisfied.
okay, so
That change went back 7, 8 years ago.
Well, I've been fighting it every year. Yeah.
every
but-
year.
But waiting for this.
So what I'm saying is start at the top,
Just to
go
wait.
down, hit each ward, not in order, but hit one for each ward as long as it's within the number 1, and then go back up to the top, fill in as you go down to fit our budget. Does that make sense? Like I'm not saying hit the top and hit the worst roads from the very top. There's enough roads from each ward, I think, that are number 1s that we could probably hit everybody. And then that way we're doing both.
Well, I'm just thinking, I don't have the papers in front of me, but when I looked at them, there were some wards that, yeah, they were number 1, but they were like 46%. And so, I mean, if you're looking at the whole township overall and you're assuming that people are moving everywhere in the township, I think you have to look at the overall township first and be most concerned as opposed to just trying to get roads fixed in your ward that maybe don't really need fixed yet.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and this is what our plan has been. But I think that maybe somewhere between my suggestion and hitting the worst roads, we can possibly make everyone happy.
Just thinking.
The costs of these roads, that's not gonna happen.
That's what it's saying.
My ward, I mean, there's a lot of them in my ward.
I mean, we have an 8.6 in Ward 5. I mean, that's one of the lowest percentages I see, if the percentages are accurate.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna hit in everybody's ward. If we do, that's fantastic, but my priority is the worst roads. But I'd also like to see kind of what Marie's pointing out is Tom Kelly and if they agree, kind of one go through these to see, all right, for these roads heavily traveled, do we have other issues with them? Because like I'm seeing on mine, like there's in Ward 4, I have Lockland for apartments to Township border. There's not that many residents that really travel that. Like I would rather see Pembroke or a portion of Pembroke in my ward done if it happens to be. There's a very highly traveled road for everybody over there. It's on the list. I'm sure there are others around the township that get used way more frequently than some of the streets. Yes, they eventually need to be done,
8 years.
but I'd rather spend our money when we're just paying for a buck.
Worst
See,
road.
Well,
that's
and
changing the philosophy. I was preaching for the last 3 years. The last 3 years, I was told,
Clavia
we're
started.
not gonna go by wards, we're not gonna by, we're gonna buy what the engineer and what Public Works say is the worst, waiting for this report.
And that's what I'm asking for, but this report doesn't give the entire picture of the road.
Well, I think it tells what it's, I mean, when I was told we were buying this program, it was to tell us what were the worst roads. Isn't that what I was told, Denise?
And it does.
Okay, so if these are the worst roads, these are the worst roads.
What are they total?
Oh, I'm looking at the.
More than what we have budgeted.
We get maybe 4 roads done.
Yeah, I was gonna
What
say.
you're saying is it doesn't provide the use of traffic.
Correct. Some of the other issues that doesn't look at, whether we have to do drainage work on some of these roads or whether there's this or there's that. It's not gonna give us the entire picture, but it's gonna give us a hell of a good idea how bad some of these roads truly are.
I'm not speaking for Michelle, but when we went through this and we rode down on her roads down in East Carnegie, that was never consideration, was what the engineer and the public works said were the worst roads.
Yeah, that's the way it started about 8 years ago.
I don't know, Michelle, you still on? I remember her and I having this discussion.
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear.
Yeah,
you.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
And I do know what you're referencing. And yes, I do think that there should be some sort of a hybrid between like what absolutely needs to be done and making sure that it's fair for all of the wards, like some sort of a hybrid between the two. However, I spoke with somebody today who did bring it to my attention that if we don't get this on the books now, we're going to be behind the 8 ball, and that's what I don't want to have happen. So I'd actually rather see way more add-ons. If that's a thing, Marie, I don't know if that's a thing, because my big concern, and of course I vocalized that yesterday, is that winter's not over yet, and I don't know what's going to happen to any of these roads in the next 6 weeks.
Starting today.
Well, I'm also,
The other thing
It's gonna.
to consider, I mean, just for your decision-making process, we have one table in here that's all wards road number one. So this is like the worst road in each ward totaled up. So if you look at that, it's ordering them by asphalt condition. But if you look at the length, like there's Woodridge Road is almost 1,700 feet long. So obviously it's commanding the largest financial investment. And Arena, if I'm even saying that right, is like almost 1,200 feet. So you could also consider maybe splitting that, or, reducing that length to bring the cost down so that you could, stay within your budget. And it's just something I want to throw out there. That's also
The only concern I hate about that is if you mobilize on one road, then you pull them off and send them across the township to do another road, it becomes inefficient. That's the point.
I just did a rough addition of the 9 number 1 roads that are listed there. It's about 625,000. So that's all 9 that are number 1.
It's 65550 stays. It's on a page on here. It's
Oh, okay.
all wards road number one, or road number one. I can't tell you it's on the page.
Yeah, they're numbered.
No, it's not. Oh, that one's not.
I got it.
Okay.
All right, so our budget is possibly 566. I
That's
mean,
100.
No, 666, probably less 100. So it's around 550.
That's what she said.
Well, that includes the park.
No,
So
it's
that's
six.
Saying it's 550 for without.
I thought it was 550 included.
No.
60.
Right.
Park of right. Roughly 550.
How do we want to proceed?
Well, I feel like we paid all the money for this program, and I was told we were going to follow it. We follow it.
I don't think you should change, no. It originally was, we were gonna do all the bad roads. I would have thought, that was 8 years ago. I thought we would at least covered them by now. And went back to where we were, but apparently we still have.
Don, every year roads get worse.
I know that.
But we last 5 years at least, we've been dealing with the worst roads supposedly.
Yeah, but you should have the majority, 8 years, you should have the majority of the really bad roads out of the way by now.
Unfortunately, the dollar just doesn't get spent as far as you would think it would, especially.
I understand that.
Get less and less every year.
But I was saying, I think you have to continue doing what you're doing on the worst roads till you get to the point where then you can start breaking it up by ward again.
You either need to do that or you need to budget more to cover more because we're losing.
You have to, well, apparently from the budget, we don't have it.
Right.
That's obvious.
First next year, so.
And liquid fuels keeps.
And you won't have it next year either. Or the year after that.
Never gonna
have it for the next 5 years.
My recollection, and Kevin, if you know, you might, When Larry did a survey a number of years ago, at that point, we needed over $600 to do all the roads. And that's like 10 years ago, which would have been 600,000 a year, and we haven't done that every year. So
Right.
it was a lot of money to cover all the roads.
Sure.
And we never couldn't do it.
What I like about the investment in road AI is we're not just looking at one or two people's opinion driving around the township. We actually have real data. Putting that forward, we're making decisions based on it. Even if we don't cover all the red, at least we know we're working in the red.
Taking the politics out of it.
Yes. Yes.
I think you have to continue doing that.
Yeah, again, my only point is I want to attack the red, but I also want to attack the red that is utilized by a majority of our township. I don't want to tackle red necessarily because it's the worst road and it's in the middle of nowhere where 3 houses use it. No offense to those 3 people.
Oh, yeah, you should pull
Spend
those
money
out.
on
I would agree there.
Heavily traveled, that is going to be putting our tax dollars more.
But then my question, if it's that less traveled, how did it get so bad?
We probably haven't touched it in decades. That's the best thing.
You have that many roads?
I'm just in mind.
So the one large table, it would be the last table in your packet. This organizes the roads by asphalt condition. So it starts with the worst asphalt condition, and I'm just gonna pick on this one because I'll make an example out of it. So it starts with Mary Street. 260 long, got an 8.6% asphalt condition, 27,000. I don't know how many people live on that road. If you go through this table, this is organizing them by the worst condition, getting better. So you can look and say, okay, well, Mary Street, maybe that's not worth investing in because we have like nobody that lives there or nobody travels
There's a
it. You
company
could
there.
take that off. And then you can just keep going through this. So, this is one organizational method. This is worst condition to best condition. And then if you go to the other table, this table here gives you the number 1 worst road in every ward. So I think all the data that you have asked for is in these tables. It's just as a method of selection, the board needs to decide how you guys want to move forward with that. And if there's anything we can do to help you with that process, I want to be able to do that for you.
So what I think I'm hearing is we should be looking at the worst road table and thinking about it based on how the roads are used and how many residents.
Exceptions to it for good reason. Like if it's that much not traveled, then maybe you can just pull it out and go to the next one.
Is that something Bert and Tom can take a first pass at and get out to us?
That is so subjective.
I understand.
So that's what they kept telling me for years. We want to get rid of subjectivity.
Right.
Stacy, you kept telling me that. We're getting rid of subjectivity. We're going with stats and numbers. And if we're going with stats and numbers, then all wards, road number 1 should be where we start.
Number of residents and amount of traffic doesn't have to be subjective.
That is subjective.
We might not have traffic counts on every road, but we can estimate it.
I don't know. Like old
Number of houses,
Scrubgrass.
not subjective.
I go on old Scrubgrass all the time and there aren't there's no home. There's like very few, 2 homes on there maybe. And that's a cut through. And probably most of the people that travel it aren't even Scott residents. They're probably from St. Clair, Mount Lebanon. So we started going,
There's a lot of people that travel that road.
I'm on that road.
That whole area. You're
You
getting,
tell me they're all Scott residents?
well, a lot of them,
A lot of them aren't.
it's every road, a lot of them aren't.
I
I don't know the
Activity. I'm not saying there's any problem with doing it.
Cut through.
But I'm saying if we're going to start figuring out who drives on what road, then we're getting very subjective.
I think before you pick, I could consider having a little bit of an idea of how often it's traveled before you actually decide on it, but
We don't have.
I think you still need to go with the worst roads.
Okay, the worst road in my ward is the road that goes back to Spinnerfield.
Well, we're not doing that one now because we've construction vehicles on it.
The second worst road in my ward is Perina Drive. So again, would you do Spinnerfield Road?
This doesn't have this has Perina as the worst road.
I'm looking at another one that has Spinnerfield on it. There's a lot of
There's right
so-
below Marina on the asphalt condition, and part of that was caused by us too.
Right, that, yeah.
The one that says all wards, road number one.
Yeah.
That's the one that ranks all the number ones with the worst condition. I
Right,
don't
and then
see,
flip over to the next page.
That's a different
all
chart.
The asphalt condition versus the
I know, but that's not this one. This one says all the number ones.
Yeah, so this is the number one road in each ward put on this table. So Stacy should have Perino on there,
All right.
right there. So that's.
And I felt like you wanna impart some wisdom on.
All question, so, think about 25 million, we pave every road in the township. Current day, so it's 550,000, it's about 40 to 45 years. Pave every road
Yeah,
in the township.
So you're never gonna get ahead of the game.
Solve that problem.
No, just to make a big picture point, most of the area, there's somewhere between 50, 60. The least we have is 15. Somebody gets every road paved every 15 years. The average for this area is between 40 and 60. Based on current budgeting that everybody, so you're kind of in the middle as far as that goes. At that budget level, so. And I think, Tom, you're right back whenever we first looked at it, was probably $7-8 million, but paving's now $9 a square yard. It was $3 a square yard.
Yeah, that's about 10 years ago, probably. We figured $500,000 a year back then.
Thank you for that insight, Kevin. That's an interesting way to look at it. So do we want to provide feedback to Denise, Tom, and Bert? Or do we want them to give additional feedback to us? With the concern that it could be subjective.
Well, should the people in Department of Public Works figure it up and bring it back to us? Let us decide. I mean, they're the ones that are more knowledgeable about it.
They're on travel.
I mean, it should be done through committee and then come out of committee.
It's
I
time,
just don't want to wait.
time factor.
I understand.
That's the problem.
We've
Like to get it done sooner rather than later.
And I've been gone 8 years and it's always been a time.
So
Sensitive fact.
We've been trying, actually, Don, since you left.
You
have been
Well,
trying.
we've gotten better because it's cheaper the earlier you start.
I
let's,
think if we send them with some direction, like as, you know, look at this list that goes from asphalt condition worst to best, look at these top roads that are here, because it does encompass almost all the wards. And then give us some feedback on what you think our township dollars would be best spent on.
and I would
So
say,
for various reasons, whether it's usability or there's other issues that are on the road that's not caught by the road AI, like the drainage or the catch bases and things like that. Like, where are we gonna be able to spend the money, get the most bang for our
Right,
buck?
exactly.
And yes, you're gonna have some subjectivity to it, but you don't have to lean all the way into that. But it's always gonna be a play. It's gonna have to be, because there's 9 of us making a decision.
so let's get the feedback from Public Works. Let's get it out to the.
Based on the AI information.
On the AI. Get it out to the board by Friday, if that's okay. Gives us, or Monday. Gives us another week to stew on it.
And what is the criteria that you guys want the Public Works and the director to look at? The most highly traveled, I kind of want to look for some guidance here.
That's the subjectivity of the guy.
You know what I mean?
My opinion, feel free to disagree, is the worst to the best based on road use. Based on road use. I mean, having a look at it. What do they focus on plowing first because it's a hazard? And how often people are on it?
And again, if we leave a road that's barely used, and another year, it might be on next year's list, but we pick one that's more highly used, because again, it'll deteriorate faster. I want to put my money towards that instead of letting it get worse and having to spend even more.
And also not consider the roads that we know are just already, they're gonna continue to get beat up, but they're gonna have to get replaced and repaired a year from now. I mean, I keep thinking of awful, Cherry Tree and that area, they're getting beat up, but they're gonna have to, but they're just gonna keep getting beat up.
And so is Spinner, and that's. You know,
Right, and the spinner's the same thing, right?
Okay,
Does that give you direction?
Yeah.
Enough?
that's good.
I think this also gives us each a chance over the next, look at those roads ourselves too. And maybe take notes as to what we think are traveled more, or what we think, like you said, it could be drainage problems. What we think is worse too.
Let's hope some more of the snow melts to help us out there.
Yeah.
Or for today, we weren't able to see a whole lot.
Problem is with the snow melting and you get another freeze, you're gonna start having
Yeah.
all kinds of issues.
Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna get water, it's gonna get down into the cracks and then the freeze is gonna lift everything up.
We had that on Foxcroft. Luckily, we paved that last year, but we
You're gonna have that on every road, basically.
Yeah.
It's been a hard winter.
And then they know.
Freeze thaw, freeze thaw, freeze thaw, you have all kinds of a issue.
We just wasted money on that. How much did we pay for that?
I disagree with that.
I
No.
completely disagree.
I really do.
We paid for this report, Denise.
I think you're just throwing a fit at this point.
No, I disagree. that was the whole reason of us was paying the money we paid for the program.
And the money we paid wasn't just for this year.
No, but we're paying for it. So what, next year we're gonna change the rules again?
No, but
That's what I'm saying. I was told we're gonna follow this. We're not doing it.
but the investment in the AI can be used every year. It can be used during the year. as
Okay,
well.
what factors are we gonna give if there's a business on the road?
That's not part of the AI program.
I know. So what factor, when we're looking around subjectively to look at these things, if there's a business on the road, what factor are we gonna give that road? Is having that business on there? Pays tax dollars, for the employees.
I'll give that.
All right. Again, changing the rules. That's what the prior George used to always.
Yeah, I don't wanna.
There's an initial investment and then there's an ongoing software fee. We'll find it.
Okay, continuing on, item 5G is to discuss the geotechnical engineering investigation and design of slope pile and lagging retaining wall to Ackenhow Engineering in the amount of $30,420 for the Duncan Way roadway stabilization project. So you'll recall we did get some grant funding for Duncan Way. That is a project that we require geotechnical engineering services on. We issued an RFP, proposals, professional service proposals. We sent 5 RFPs out, received 4 back. Ackenhow was the most cost-effective proposal in the amount of $30,425. That provides for their geotechnical investigation, preparation of a report, and design parameters for the pylon lagging retaining wall. So I would like to, with your blessing, put that on the agenda.
What's this last? We go.
Duncan Way?
Didn't we do the baskets down there?
Yes, this is the road where the
20 years.
acidity of the water is destroying the baskets and the road is.
But it was 20.
Oh, Dick Fallon was a commissioner, so that was.
I remember the conversation and I just thought it was someone.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure we didn't make the same design mistakes or whatever.
Baskets every year for probably 10 years. And that's probably 20 years ago or more.
Mm-hmm. Doing what I go
Yeah. A long time. Gabion basket.
Davy and Bell.
Any other questions on that one?
Continuing on, discuss partial payment number 4 submitted by Graham Boys LLC doing business as Graham Construct in the amount of $33,127.19 for work completed between November 1 and December 1 for the Public Works Garage Roof Replacement Project, Contract 24R1, be paid from the bond fund. Our 45-day payment date is February the 26th. This was on our agenda last month. We tabled for review again this month. So with your blessing, I'd like to put that on the agenda.
Questions?
728.
Okay, last item under engineering is to discuss the Public Works software replacement project. We received a base bid project was opened for bid on February the sixth. We received 3 bids, Cronin, Tedco, and Graham Construction. We bid base bid and add alternate. Base bid was construction of the storage building itself. The add alternate involved construction of the brine tank. We bid it that way for funding. Not knowing what the number would be, we do have some funding for the project. We wanted to make sure it was within budget. Low bid was submitted by Cronin. If you are considering the base bid amount only, which I would recommend due to your budget, $728,450. With your blessing, I would like to include this on the regular meeting. Denise and I do have a meeting tomorrow to look at all the budgeted items out of your capital improvements funds for this year to make sure that we know which projects we can divert money to, which ones we can divert money from. So with your blessing to include this.
What funding sources did we have for this?
This is the bond fund, I do believe.
There was also an LSA for it.
Yeah, there was an LSA for this. 75.
Money is.
And 75 was LSA. Yep. That's everything on my report.
Any questions on the salt shed?
Can't believe Grand Boys bid.
Standing committee report for finance.
I have nothing tonight.
Standing committee report for public safety.
I have nothing, thank you.
Chief of police update. I don't see Dan Walker on, so we can forgo that this month. Standing committee report, public works. We have a director of public works update, Tom.
Yes, good evening, Commission. Thank God January's over. During January, we had a total of 14 inches of snow, and over one weekend, we had 12 inches. The temperatures were in the low teens, even below that on some occasions. During the month, we used 395 tons of rock salt, total 340 hours of overtime. And on the 26th, we had our biggest, between the 24th and the 26th, we had our biggest snowfall when we had 11 to 12 inches that fell. Park maintenance, we've been working on the concession stand. There were some items that the health department brought up during an inspection. We've addressed those items. Road maintenance, haven't had much of an opportunity to do any cold patching. I think if the weather improves a little bit over the next week or two, we'll be able to do some patching. Hopefully it doesn't drop the way that it did before. Building maintenance, we're able to replace some of the tiles in the commission chamber and the ceiling. Put in the maps and the photographs along the wall. Did a lot of light replacement in the building, some plumbing repairs, and miscellaneous plastering. Sanitary sewer maintenance, had a couple calls out. We addressed those without issue. Stormwater maintenance, whenever we had an opportunity, when it wasn't snowing or the roads weren't frozen, we're able to do some catch basin cleaning. Vehicle maintenance, did a great job of keeping our 10 trucks serviceable and plowing the roads during January. We've ordered a new snowplow, a parks pickup, and also a hot box, so we'll be able to do some road patching with hot asphalt. That'll be very helpful. Had a lot of resident complaints, of course, particularly between the 24th and the 25th. We were able to address them all. We also responded to some requests regarding sanitary sewer issues. Pennsylvania 1 calls, total 91 during the month. We had a total of 23 emergency tickets. Most of the tickets are submitted by the utilities. 25 dye test applications prepared, 15 dye test applications reviewed and approved. That sums it up.
And then we have item 8B, which is to discuss a resolution to collaborate and authorizing the township to enter a 3-year street sweeping agreement to sweep Green Free Road once per year. PennDOT will reimburse the township $2,439.04 for the first year's sweep. I think my question on this is, what's the amount for years 2 and 3?
Yeah.
$1.
No, Tom, do you have the agreement?
You know what, with PennDOT, it usually does increase. I've done some of these maintenance agreements before. I would have preferred that they had an increase written in there. But I think at the end of the first year, we're going to sit down with them and we're going to negotiate a little better price than this. It's not a bad price for one sweep. I mean, it's only 16 hours, but still, we should be moving it up. And it focuses strictly on Green Tree Road, doesn't focus on any of the roads. And it's only one sweep, and that sweep takes place between April and May.
And then you have Green Tree Road all the way from Route 50 up
Yes.
to Forsyth, or
Yes,
up to
It's-
Ryan.
right.
Audible, yeah.
Yeah, it's the entire section of Green Tree Road from the border in Green Tree all the way down to the border in Heidelberg.
Now, are we gonna have to do that off hours on overtime because of the traffic?
Well, you know what, we might want to start it early. I know in Mount Lebanon, we always started early. So maybe starting it an hour early is probably a good thing to do, maybe about 6 a.m. And you know, we don't want to tangle with traffic on Green Tree Road, that's for sure.
I mean, that gets intense from like 7 to 9, yes. Maybe even a midday wouldn't be bad. I know if they do closures there,
Traffic
they tend to do
long
it.
on Green Tree Road.
We would
I
want
had a
a
question.
trailer, like a police trailer as far as visibility, so that there's not a issue with that.
A bad idea.
And I'm just questioning too with Tom, you know, but you've got the 3-year contract. So does that put us if we're trying to negotiate years 2 and 3, we already have the 3-year contract, does that like put us at a disadvantage as far as getting them to pay a little bit more, or, you know, how's that
I
gonna
think there are
work?
provisions in the contract that would allow us to, if it wasn't working out favorably for either party, we could, John could review it, but I think we could probably, I think there's a clause in there that would allow us to, you know, if it wasn't working out, just to move away from it.
Yeah, I would be more concerned about
Yeah,
that,
there's-
Jane, if it was a private contract. But with a
Right.
public entity.
Oh, it's interesting.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. I mean, under the agreement, what it says is that reigns in effect, effective date until June, and then but it says on termination for cause or convenience upon 30 days written notice by either party.
I have another question. If it's a one sweep, why are they paying us quarterly for that amount? It's so small. Denise?
I'm sorry.
According to the contract, I just skimmed it. It says we're gonna be paid on a quarterly basis. So we're only getting paid $24.5. Why are they only paying us quarterly? Why aren't they paying us the whole
Each time when we do the sweep.
once we're done?
I think it's just a standard contract that they made, so anything that we would want to change, we'd have to go back to them. I think that's just the agreement standard that they send to everybody.
What I see here, this agreement does not.
We're through a while.
I mean, this is, I agree with you, it's a standard agreement geared towards a lot of work being done for them. The way this is structured, again, it's based on, it's not based on a single job being done. That'd be much simpler than this 4-page agreement.
Tom, one of the complaints that I get all the time on Green Tree Road is vegetation growth on the concrete center medians. Would sweeping help that at all? Or is that's purely a vegetation management thing that PennDOT has to do?
You know what, it would not help. They would have to get out there, and they don't get out there that often to cut that back, but that is something that they would have to do. We can't do that with a sweeper.
More often than not, I see they spray it and then it lays there dead and it looks
That's
worse.
right.
They never actually cut it. I tend to agree with Tom that, can we go back to them and ask them if they
Just to
would,
be yearly instead of quarterly.
2,000 in a lump sum is not,
Yeah.
Not a big.
that's not a big. And it's easier administratively to receive the payment once.
Checks.
True.
Any other,
clarification on this, but I'm looking at this agreement. They're talking general provisions and, the term of this agreement will commence on the effective date and will remain in effect until June 30th, 2026.
Right.
And I don't see anything else, even though the resolution talks about a 3-year agreement, I see nothing on the renewals of the agreement.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. This is inconsistent with what we're talking about.
let's get some clarity before we put it on.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we have to
It's
start in March if we wait till April.
it's not a brain, I mean, it's a. Could be sure.
Environmental Committee, Sewer Committee, and MS4. Tonight,
No, nothing.
Parks, Recreation, and Public Relations.
The only thing I have is, the paint and sip, painting class. It's painting on slate, February 28th from 6 to 8, and it's $45.
And is that at the community room?
I
Or
believe it is.
one of them? Sure, it's online.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Well, she isn't, yeah. Yes, community room.
Library Liaison Report.
Yeah, I attended their board meeting yesterday. They're a very busy group. They got a lot of things going on. They've got Love Your Library is the month of February. Have a generous anonymous donation given to them so they can match all contributions received in February. They have a number of fundraisers going on. They have one at Chick-fil-A. I guess they have one with Sarah's Candy for Valentine's Day and Easter. And I think last year they raised $10,000 in 2025, which goes a long way, I guess, to get their match from us. They're trying to put numbers together for their state financial audit report. They're putting out a 5-year RSP for upcoming audits for 5 years. And they're planning I guess 2026 is their 25th anniversary. So they're planning something for that. They're still in the planning stages. And they're planning a employee volunteer recognition day at the library in, I think, April 23rd. So they're very busy and they're doing a lot of fundraising. I think they have a used book sale coming up. The friends of the library are looking for new volunteers to help at the library and all their fundraisers. So they're a very busy group.
JCOG, I have no updates for tonight. Move on to Standing Committee Administration. Did you see an update?
I do. I'd like to recognize John Brown for the beautiful multimedia elephant that he generously gifted to me as the manager. John attends art school in Carnegie at Forget Me Not, and he's been a proud patron of Scott Pool since he was a young boy. During our conversation, John spoke fondly of the lifeguards, describing them as his sweet and kind pals, words that truly reflect the welcoming spirit of our pool staff. His love for Scott Pool inspired him to share this meaningful piece of art, and I will be proudly displaying that in the administrative offices as a reminder of our strong sense of community we're fortunate to have here in Scott Township. In the month of January, administrative offices worked on finalizing the budget information for the website, meeting with web designers on a website upgrade, creating an RFP for IT services, which is going to be on the agenda here, and met with Waste Management on service items. Those are just some of the highlights that we worked on in January. That's all I have.
Next with item 13B, we have discussed hiring Michael Rudolph as administrative assistant at an annual rate of $60,000 a year, predicated upon passing a physical and background check. This position has a 6-month probationary period.
Never.
Questions or comments on that?
The only question and or comment, I didn't know if we were gonna start the 6 months from whenever if we decide to hire this, or if we can, waive some of it, being that he's
Been here.
worked this long and he's done pretty good job for us. I think we're all pretty happy.
Normally I would ask for a year. That's why I cut it to 6 months.
Okay,
So
So,
that's fair.
that's
Yeah.
Thank you.
Has he been here since August?
since August.
Oh, when?
October 1st. October. 6 months to now is August. Okay, well, that's.
Yeah, I thought it was August.
So it's been here for 5 months.
We'll give him another 6.
That's fine.
There. That's good. That on for vote.
Okay.
And item 13C, discuss advertising for proposal from vendors for information technology support services.
This is something that Stacy and I had talked about last year, something that we wanted to implement for this year. We're going to be going out and just freshening up the proposals, making sure that we are getting the best bang for our buck. IT services was the easiest one for me to pick off. That's why it's on the agenda this evening.
We haven't looked at it in a while, and with some of the personnel changes, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Just freshen it up.
I don't know enough about IT services, but does this proposal cover everything that we could essentially might need from them?
Yes.
I mean, my opinion is it should focus heavily on security in today's age, more than probably ever before.
Is this a full-time position or just a consultant?
Oh, no, this is the consultant. We already have one in place. We've been using them for over 20 years.
Right.
I just think that it's nice to go in and take a look at everything, make sure that everything that we have or expecting to have in place is there. One of the things that we should have is training for our employees. One of the ideas that we had was to have emails go out and see if anyone responds to them. If they don't know or recognize the email. It's all training. I think that our employees are pretty good at that, but it doesn't hurt to send emails out every once in a while just to make sure that everyone is on their best game and not opening things that they shouldn't be opening to protect us.
Okay, would you still retain the company that we have now? This would replace?
This is to
Potentially.
either keep or replace the one that we currently have.
Okay.
Very happy with the services that we have now.
Right.
I don't want anyone to misunderstand that. It's just we're sending it out just to see what's there.
The level set.
Thank you.
Would that affect the web designs being done?
No, the web design is Troy Designs. They are the ones that did the original website a number of years ago. They have come back in, gave us a proposal to do an upgrade for that. And one of the things that I think is important that we're going to need to do with our website is, we have multi-language that's already in there for CityBot. Different things that we could make more accessible for all of our residents. It's just a lot of things that technology has grown and our website has kind of stayed a little bit behind and we need to upgrade it a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's really user-friendly, and many things I want to find, I can't. I've got to hunt through a lot of different pages to find it.
Yeah. We do want to reduce the number of pages as well. We want to change the way that it's searching. Instead of it being all in one long list, you're going to have it sectioned off so that you pull up an item and it's going to say what you are looking for within that item instead of having to search and going from page to page. We're trying to reduce the number of that.
So much out there, it's hard to keep it up with it too.
Yep. Yep. But I would like input. If there is something that you guys are particularly interested in us looking at, we'll take a look at it and see what we can do to upgrade it.
Denise, I think one of the things when we get to our parks section, is I've noticed a lot of times on social media, people asking how many tables are in a,
Yes.
and the size of them, the width of the round ones and the large, so they know what type of tablecloths and stuff to get and how many people it seats at the table. I think we need something in there that's a little bit more informative
Great.
for people.
Thank you. Absolutely. Cool. Oh, and Tom, the road AI, I wanted to tell you the very first year, it was 12,190, and then it's 7,000 per year each year thereafter,
Okay, thank you.
And we passed that in
2025.
January of 2025.
Years ago.
Conferences and workshops, anything for tonight? I will invite any public comments on items not listed on the agenda. There's nobody in the room. And it doesn't appear that there are any on Zoom. So we'll move on to commissioner's request. Start with Eileen tonight.
Actually, and it's not a request, it's just a comment. I wanted to thank Michael, since we all got a peek at the newsletter, to say it's really nice. It's just, it's a breath of fresh air to see that it's done so early in the year that everybody's gonna get the information out there. And the look of it is, it's nice. It needed a facelift. So thank you for all that work, because that is a lot of work.
Yeah, I had one residential complaint about snow-covered sidewalks, but walks informed me that that's all been taken care of now. And the only other thing from the library board meeting was they informed me that there's still a leak on their roof into the woman's restroom, forming mold. And I inquired, is that the same leak that was there 6 years ago when I was liaison? And they told me yes. So if somebody could get over there and see what they could do. It could be because of all this snow melting, but they say it's been on and off now for many years. So probably you get mold in there and it gets carried. If it gets into those books, it'll destroy their library collection. So if somebody can just go over there from Public Works, take a look at it, see if there's anything they could do to it, it'd be much appreciated by me and the library board. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Nothing.
Jane?
No, nothing except for complimenting Michael on what a wonderful job he did. Does all the time.
Sam?
Yes, I think I'm the school district liaison this year. I did have a chance to go over to the school board this meeting for this one this evening. They had a brief presentation regarding the contract and the bid that they got submitted. They only focused on not what it was going to cost the district, but overall for the drivers, it was about an 8% increase in wages on the first year. Same with, I believe, I forget the term, but the helper that is on the bus as well, it's about an 8%. They said it was roughly 18% in total, because there's a bonus if they sign on. They're all supposed to get a job with this bus company. And the other thing they focused on was the savings of about $10 million in replacing the buses for the school district. But again, they didn't put what it was going to cost.
They focused on the wages, not the district.
Right. So Sam,
Company name?
They want to renovate them.
First student.
so Sam, so they are getting rid of the union? Is that what they decided?
They're still negotiating. They're not making any kind of decision. I guess they had a negotiating session today, but they're not in a position to make any recommendations to the board one way or the other.
So this is just
they put a proposal out last November, I think it was, and they just wanted to bring forth this information from what the superintendent said due to the misinformation that's been out there allegedly.
Okay.
That's all.
Kathy?
Nothing, thank you.
Michelle?
Nothing. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
Last but not least, Stacy?
Yep. Michael, just wanted to say, I'm super excited that you want to stay on with us. You've been doing a great job. Tom Kelly, just a quick shout out again. I don't think we tell you thanks enough for what you, Bert and Public Works do to keep us all afloat through this crappy weather. I too am very happy January's over. Third, real quick, just to let you guys know, I am headed to Gettysburg next weekend, representing Scott Township for the Pennsylvania State Association of Township Commissioners. Hopefully, I'll come back with something new and exciting for us. Again, that's at no cost to the township, just another group that I'm involved in. That's it. Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
You too, Stace. Have a safe trip.
Thanks.
Based on that, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. We do have an executive session on personnel, but there's no need to meet meeting open. I can have a second for that. Second. All in favor?
I
Aye.
understand this.
Meeting-
This says is an Aspen.
Stacy, do you want us to, Michelle already hopped off. Do you want us to call you?
Street open permit.
If you could call me, that'd be great. Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah.